از اعضای کمله که پایگاهشون در شمال عراق است اومده در خرم‌آباد از همدان عبور کرده کرمان.
همونطور که می‌بینید یه عده‌ای مدعی شده جمهوری اسلامی اینه، حالا یه سری خرس‌خانه دور هم.
Now, the US President Donald Trump warns his country will, quote, take very strong action against Iran if protests continue. Thousands of anti-government demonstrations and demonstrators have died since demonstrations began. Some people are now able to call people outside of the country. Although an ongoing internet blackout remains in place, the US and the UK have both started to move troops out of the region's bases as Iran threatens retribution over any possible US strikes. Donald Trump has warned of very strong action if Iran continues to execute demonstrators. His comments follow the arrest of 26-year-old Irfan Soltani, whose capital punishment was due to be carried out today.
If they hang him, you're going to see some things that I don't know what where you come from and what your thought process is, but you'll perhaps be very happy.
What do you mean by that?
We will take very strong action. If they do such a thing, we will take very strong action. We don't want to see what's happening in Iran happen. And, you know, if they want to have protests, that's one thing. When they start killing thousands of people, and now you're telling me about hanging, we'll see how that works out for them.
Air raid shelters have begun to open in Israel, while German airline carrier Lufthansa says it will be cancelling flights to the region.
Let's return to Iran now with the Australian's foreign editor, Greg Sheridan. Greg, thanks so much for being with us tonight. I spoke at the top of the show about the thousands of protesters now who have been killed during this violent crackdown by Iran's security forces. This is now one of the biggest challenges to the regime since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Do you see this as possibly the beginning of the end for Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and his brutal regime?
Well, Carolyn, great to be with you. Look, I think the signs are not great, just the latest signs. This, I think, has been the biggest challenge to the Islamo-Stalinist regime of the mullahs since the 1979 Islamic Revolution, but the regime has held together. You haven't seen any defections from within the regime. You haven't seen any visible disunity from the security forces, and the security forces have shown a willingness to kill thousands and thousands and thousands of Iranian civilians intentionally, because they're protesting against a dictatorship. Now, the sad truth is dictatorships often fall not because they're too rough, but when they start to liberalise. That was what happened in the Soviet Union. In a way, that's what happened to the Shah in Iran. it's fascinating that Donald Trump is getting involved in this on the grounds of human rights. I mean, this is Donald Trump, the neoconservative. This is Donald Trump, the liberal internationalist. This is Donald Trump we haven't seen before. It's very welcome that he's supporting the demonstrators. I salute their magnificent courage, and I think every civilised human being in the world supports the Iranian demonstrators. Our government quite rightly said that it does, but you know, I very much hope I'm wrong here, but I think the regime looks as though it's going to hold together.
Oh, look, I hope you're wrong as well. You talk about US President Donald Trump, and I think he's made the strongest hints in the past 24 hours that he could take military action here. He posted online, help is on its way. He hasn't ruled out airstrikes when asked about this by reporters. Do you think, though, that another US strike on Iran is likely to happen at this point?
Look, Carolyn, I would say it's genuinely impossible to predict. So first of all, I mean, I welcome Trump's intervention in the sense that he is supporting the demonstrators. So he's on the side of human decency, basic human decencies. So good on the president for that. Some of his recent actions have been extremely effective in Venezuela, in Gaza, and in the strike on Iran's military facilities. But it's very difficult to see how an American military strike from the air could materially help the demonstrators. Iran doesn't look as though it's just on the brink of collapse and one more push will shove it over the edge. I suppose it's conceivable that they could try to decapitate the regime, but that, you know, the system seems to be pretty solid. If it lost a leader or a number of leaders, they would quickly be replaced. The other thing about Trump's rhetoric, I mean, as I say, the support for the demonstrators is salutary and welcome. But if you say to people, keep demonstrating, help is on its way, that does place you under a big moral obligation to give them some help. I mean, one of the long-term criticisms of liberal interventionism has been that you get people to sacrifice their lives in a good cause on the promise of help that never quite arrives. And I just don't see, I don't say this as a criticism of Trump or anything, but I just don't see what US military action could advance the situation of the protesters or lead to regime collapse in Iran. But Trump has said so much about it in the last couple of days, it'll look very strange if he doesn't do something. But there are non-military measures open to him, increasing sanctions or perhaps cyber interference with the state security forces of Iran, something like that.
Yeah, maybe that is more plausible, I suppose. But yeah, he says he's cancelled negotiations that had been in the works with Iran. So if he doesn't do something at this stage, I think he would look a bit foolish after all the tough talk.